Hi guys, it's Grace
Hi, it's Loraya.
and we are the Indigos, and today we've got a very special guest, one of our little Indigo friends. Her name is Gloria and she's from Charlotte. And you want to say hi to everyone?
Yeah, hey everyone. Like Grace just said, my name's Gloria. I'm from Charlotte. I'm really excited to share whatever this space is going to end up being. I'm sure we'll all learn or vibe with each other in some way or another. So let's get to it.
All right, so
Awesome.
today we're going to talk about the topic of you're exactly where you need to be. And what we mean by that is that your life journey provides you the space, and each time it provides space for you, you're exactly where you need to be at the right time in order to learn as much as you need to learn out of that journey and out of that experience. So, Lorraine, you want to kickstart us?
Absolutely. First thing I want to say in regards to that, to make sure that we keep in mind that even when we're in this space of growing and being where we want to be, we still want to take the responsibility to know that we can still make right or wrong decisions. I don't want people to think that necessarily making a wrong decision, being where you're at, and justifying and saying that you're in the space in which you're supposed to be in. Because we do have to take responsibility for the choices we make. But being that we're all learning and growing and existing within this life, the first thing I thought of when we brought up this topic was grow where you are planted. And that basically means wherever you're at, whatever situation you are in, making the most of what you're dealt with. We're all given cards of life that we have to deal with to the best of our ability. So when you are handed a certain card in life, whether it's the winning card, the losing card, whatever it is, to take that and grow from that and let that be part of your journey of growth. Let that elevate you. If it does put you in a space where you have to work harder than other people, you have to sacrifice more, whatever the level is, there's always going to be someone that has it easier than you, and there's always going to be someone that has it harder than you. But to make the most of what you have is the most important part, because when you're in a space in life, I do believe in divine timing. So the things that do happen, the people that are in your life, there are a lot of people that come in your life that are seasonal, and within that, learn from one another. Recognize what your dynamic is so that you can make the most of your experiences in everything that you do. So it's really about growing where you're planted. Sometimes like we don't get to choose, how easy or hard we have it, but our choices are based on our responsibility is to make the best choices for ourselves that serve our growth and to make us a better person, not to allow it to be an excuse to not do the right thing or grow, even though, it's hard, it's not easy. So that's something that I want to just talk about, because I know there's been a lot of things in life that I had to fight for. A lot of things weren't given to me. Everything in life I had, besides, God-given gifts that were all given, other than the gift, I was given nothing else. I had to fight to make that gift something that I was even able to use and access. And I don't know if you guys experience either of those things. But for me, it was always trying to make the most of whatever I had, whether it was a lot or a little.
Yeah, I think that analogy, that metaphor of using, where you're planted, nurture where you're planted. Wherever you are sowing seeds, and all those seeds need to have nurturing. All the nurturing comes from love, and that's the ultimate source is the love in which you provide for that experience. So knowing that your timing is exactly where it needs to be for the purpose of your crop, your building of your life. And so whether it's a bad situation or a very hard situation, whether it's a good situation, it needs to be nurtured in every aspect, and to receive it in the magnitude of love, to remove yourself from the egoic world of attachment, of this, even perception. I think it comes down to perception too, that the perception shouldn't be that, because both bad and good experiences are just as exactly what they need to be. They need to be bad and good for you to be able to grow and elevate from those experiences, whether they're hard, whether they're trying, whether they're heartbreak, whether they're, you know, glorious in, you know, something really amazing. Every single part is a divine orchestration, like you were saying, Lorena, like the divinity. It is divine orchestration of exactly the right situation of what needs to present itself at the right time for you to be able to receive it. But I think the real point here would be to, what I have found in my experience is that I have to open up my heart and receive every single situation in a love, in love that will allow me to be detached from ego or any attachment to it and allow it to be to its full fruition. And the full fruition can only happen if you nurture those seeds that Lorraine was talking about, of the plantation and everything. So we'll go on to Gloria. Gloria, so in your life, like, what has been a situation where you've had to kind of embrace your experiences with openness for you to be able to grow as much as you can?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, well, I was a kid who went to 14 different schools in 12 years between kindergarten and senior year of high school. So, like, having to constantly accept change and, like, these are people I'm not going to see, and you know what I mean? That just kind of became my life for, like, a while there, where I didn't even notice that, like, I wasn't making, like, attachments, you know what I mean? But then I also, like, by the time I got to college, I was able to look back on that really sporadic time between constantly being picked up from Georgia to Cincinnati to Indiana as a child, and having to, and then this is something, I don't know if it works for all kids, but being a kid who was constantly put in front of 30 new kids every year, you know, there's a certain amount of acceptance of, okay, this is a new place. I'm going to have to be like, you know, as real of a person as I can be, so that I can get people like me to come near me. And that's something I learned to do very early on in life. So, like, I would come to this new school and I'd be like, I'm kind of sad I'm here. I miss my old things. I'm into soccer. What are you into? And that's an acceptance that as a child I was able to develop, and be like, okay, so what do I do to make the rest of this comfortable? What do I do to get the most out of it? And in school, what do you need to get out of things? You know, you need friends, you need a community, you need people you can lean on, right? And so that's something that developed, that luckily I had the foundation for. So when I went to college, even more changes happen. You know, you have people pass away in your life. You need to, you know, switch schools even sometimes, and being able to, like, readily accept a situation as current, as now, as unchanging, and as something that I'm technically powerless in terms of mobility, but in terms of, like, mentality, okay, how can I open myself and receive the most? And so it always comes down to, like, being the truest form of myself, right? Being open and real with others, and inviting even. So, like, it was something I started doing, especially when I came to the South, was where every brown person I see, I smile at them. Because, like, there's this thing that happens where people shut themselves off, right? And I do this thing where, like, I hold the eye contact and then I wait for, like, even that uncomfortable, they're like, this month, like, what are they staring at? And smile, and you watch this whole thing melt that is actually a facade that we've created out of fear. And so I just, like, relinquished that part. I'm like, well, what's the worst this stranger is going to do? Not ever want to see me again when we probably only just saw each other just because this random moment happened. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that made sense, but, like,
no,
just, like just being the acceptance of now.
Yeah, I think that, like, just listening to your story and what you've been through, like, just coming from the spiritual aspect, one, I think it's amazing that I've known people that haven't had the stability, like, that you dealt with of, like, growing up in different places and dealt with it in a negative way. Always made it seem like, you know, everything's comes to an end, that they just didn't feel like things were tangible. But I think it's beautiful because it allows you to be in that current moment, for one, and it also develops a social skill that a lot of people don't get because they're in such a comfortable place. They're in, they don't even, it's not that they even communicate good. They know 5 people, so they can talk to them because that's all they know. They don't branch off, you know? With you, the universe puts you in different circumstances to test you. And I know that, like, those things happen young, the questions you're living, why did these things happen? Later on, they're going to be answered for you. And a lot of
They're
times they're
already,
still
they're already an answer for you. You're already giving people blessings, and you're able to adapt and modify yourself to every situation that is unique to you. You've come into new environments, new places, new situations, having to find your grounding in so many different areas of America. You know, growing up in so many different schools, social settings, communities, all this stuff has taught you, and I don't know if you can see this, but I can see it from the outside. It's taught you to adapt, to modify, to be interchangeable, which is very, very hard for a lot of people to do. You have a beautiful gift that you're able to present, and that is the interchanging way of being able to modify yourself to your environments and to be able to live without walls, to be inviting, because that's what you needed. You know, you
even
provided
further than
space.
grace. No, I was saying even further than that, it's getting you to a space to be present. And when you're thinking of like Buddhist philosophy and those things, the most important thing within this life to feel that fullness that we're talking about achieving, you have to be present. And because you know that with you going to different schools, you were very aware the moment you got there, there was an expiration date when you left to your transit. So being in that space, knowing that nothing is promised, that everything could change in an instant, because a lot of people, the rug gets swept from under them and they're devastated. But you dealt with it so many times that that change became your comfortability, your normal. So that gave you a present place to be in. So when you were going to your class, you were arriving, you are able to reveal yourself because you didn't know how much time you had, you know? So you had to see that within that moment. So you had to be present. And I think that is such a beautiful lesson where some people, if they're space to understand that higher thinking, they look at it as something that's bad, but it's absolutely beautiful to be able to just see different parts of the world, environments, like
Absolutely.
Grace was saying.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. The flip coin was that, I can talk and relate to people in like deep South, and then talk and relate to Midwesterners. And my mom she went to school in Los Angeles. Sorry, Long Beach. You know what I mean? That's where my brother was born, and like there's a certain amount of sociability that comes with that, where comfortability, it's awesome, but you also have your growing edge, which is right outside your comfortable zone. It's like, all right, cool, all this stuff here, take a step and like maybe not be so sure for a second, and like really have to trust people, the universe. Like I think that's where I come from the most, is that I feel like it's disrespectful almost in a way to really question where I physically land sometimes, because like there are so many things at work. If I even just look at every other human being going in a different direction, there are 7 billion different things that can intercept and interchange me, let alone the sun, the stars, the moon, right? And so like there's just that acceptance of the universe is going to do its thing, and it's been doing it really well since I got here 24 years ago. The earth is still intact. Obviously, it's been doing its thing for a while and knows what's up. So like I just need to kind of like play my part sometimes. Sometimes falling back is hard too. Like I've noticed for people, like that fall back, like I'ma just let it happen. Like that's tough, but that's literally a trust fall into the universe.
No, but you surrender.
Yeah.
Surrendering,
Yeah.
first of all, like when I think of surrendering, I think of when Christians speak on faith. To me, that's what that is knowing that things will be fine no matter what it's looking like. And that's what that is. So when they refer to that, so what you've done is you decided to surrender. And that lets you know that really you understand how harmonious things can be when you allow to have its natural order. We try to control so much, but we don't realize sometimes that our control, what we're doing is so minute to the grand scheme of things that we're only creating a battle within our own space.
Well, it will just come back. It will just come back to the order of how it's supposed to be. So, as much as we, as much as
that's what, and that's a majority of people's problem. Most people are not in sync with everything that is seen, or we wouldn't be in the state that we're in. We probably wouldn't even have the indigos.
Yeah.
If that was,
no, it's true. 100%.
So there are things spoken on, but like just thinking of hearing someone say that basically they surrender and they're okay. That's such a beautiful space to be in, and it's needed. The more people that are in that space, then you can be an example to that, because like your life will be an example. to so many people just by witnessing. I tell people all the time, like, really, the people that you affect the most are the people that are just watching you, not what you're saying, having a conversation, just the people that watch you and witness whatever your life is. And I think that's absolutely
and
beautiful.
all of those sequences of what you've been through and your adaptation and ways in which you surrender is really intricate parts of your gifts that you're showing us. We don't even know you. We just know you from following us on the Indigos. But we can already
love.
Thank you. But yeah, we can already see that this is intricate qualities that you have that leads on to your bigger purpose. You know, you're ready exactly where you need to be right now. You know, so don't put so much pressure on yourself about the law degree and whatever it is you're needing and, you know, that you expect that you need to be doing in this lifetime. Just you're exactly where you need to be. You're being taught all these things throughout your whole entire life and your life's journey because it's supposed to be intricately woven to be a beautiful map of you.
I love that. A beautiful map of you.
Yeah. Well, I think we can kind of sum this up right now because we've gone over our time that we said. We always do this.
Always. Well, that was fantastic.
We can talk forever about this stuff. Say that again.
No, I was excited. I just said this was so rich. Like, this is a beautiful topic. I'm so happy that we had her on here. It's just fantastic. Like, thank you guys. You're awesome.
Yeah. Well, Gloria, you have some of your friends now who have also been tuning in to the Indigos. So we'd love to hear more from your friends and stuff, and you know, and ways in which we can have these conversations with your friends too, and just open up our world and beyond, and everybody else's world too.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we'll tune in next time.
Thank
you. Thank you.
So nice.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you next time.
Okay.
All right,
bye. Bye. Stay safe.